The top five ranked prospect in the class of 2027, center Ekezie Jr. I'm sorry, I always butcher that. And Obinna, hand up. That's on me, especially because you, my friend, are one of my favorite players in this class. The 7 foot, 215 pound center plays his prep ball in Orlando, Florida. A player that Kentucky has been in on for a very long time. I've always heard Kentucky brought up with him, and he will now be taking a visit, an unofficial visit to Kentucky, I believe, for Big Blue Madness. Let me hold on now. Yes. Oh no, sorry, not for Big Blue Madness. Also, hand up. He'll be taking an unofficial visit to Kentucky for the Purdue exhibition game later this month. That's going to be a very big one. It's going to be a very highly watched, highly anticipated game. Now, Obinna, his game is one that I just love watching. When I watch him, I see Evan Mobley. I think that's the type of player that he could be eventually at the next level. He can do a lot of things, has great size, feel. And I think that he's getting better too. I think that he's a player that is still finding his way a bit, but I mean, a certified top five prospect. And Dion, you and I have talked about it offline. We love this class of 2027, and it's going to be a special one. Now, he holds offers from the likes of Cal, Stanford, USC, Houston. I mean, Bama, Kansas, UCLA, just to kind of name a few other schools. I think that listen, his dad actually played basketball at Maryland as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, Obinna is definitely been one that I think Mark Pope and his staff have been kind of putting the full court press on. Jacob Polacek over at KSR reported that UK has been in to visit him multiple times over the past month, so they're really making sure that they put the full court press on him, and he'll be taking an unofficial visit to Kentucky, like I said, on October 21st, October 24th for that exhibition game against Purdue. Dion, what do you take from this unofficial visit announcement?
I think him taking an unofficial visit for the Purdue game instead of Big Blue Madness, I sneaky smart, like by Mark Pope. I actually think that is like oddly enough like a bigger moment because you're gonna look up and see a sold out Rupp Arena for an exhibition game. And Mark Pope's gonna be able to like sell him on like imagine what it'll look like when Kentucky comes to the crib. Or excuse me, Louisville comes to the crib, my bad.
Whoa,
Yeah.
yeah, that's an L's up moment from you.
Yeah, that was down. But I think it's important he gets ahead of this for a few reasons too. Obinna also already took a visit or unofficial, excuse me, to USC. Oregon has offered him. Those are two big like this is money driven. Like you know what I mean? Like those are money driven schools. If you're visiting them, you want a bag. Louisville's in on him. Another school with big bags. I was scrolling his Twitter before we did this video. So he always, whenever he gets an offer, he tweets out, blessed to receive an offer from blank university. Really appreciate the opportunity. Cal offered him. Not like Cal University, Calipari offered him. Here was the tweet. And this is why I think it's important Mark Pope gets a visit early, because this tweet is very different from any other tweet about a school. Blessed to receive an offer from Arkansas. Very thankful for this opportunity. Thank you to Coach Calipari. That's a very different tweet than like the standard. Really appreciate the opportunity. I'm not going to mention who your coach is. It's very pointed and direct. Thank you, Coach Calipari.
Mhm.
And so Cal is clearly in. And if Calipari wants somebody, it's very hard to take that person from Calipari. So I think it's important Mark Pope gets in early. This is a good unofficial visit. He's beating everybody to it. Um, Ma- Mark Pope seems to have a better pulse on the 27 class than maybe we think about 26 at the moment.
Yeah, and to your point on that too, Dion, I think that it's gonna be like players being able to come into Rupp and be like, "Damn, this is an exhibition game."
Yeah.
This is what because Ruff's gonna be slapping. Like
Yeah.
this is two preseason top 10 teams, one being the preseason number one team in Rupp. This is gonna be a crazy environment, even for an exhibition game. That's gonna be something I think is gonna very much impress Obinna for his unofficial visit. The other thing that I want to point out, and credit to you for bringing this up in another video, Dion, but I think it applies in this one as well. Mark Pope's not crying over spilled milk. Just 2 days ago, we did a video that he got a visit from Ethan Taylor canceled, one of the top centers in the class of 2026. Listen, I want Ethan Taylor to be a Spartan, so I don't want to disrespect Ethan Taylor in this regard, but like Mark Pope's pivot is all right. Well, I want the best big in the class of 2027.
Dion, how's your job going?
Beginning of the school year, everything's like a little up and down. One of the biggest issues we've had is we can't find any uniforms for our girls' sports teams.
Mm, that's a difficult thing to find a solution for. I know damn well all about that because I got a daughter that just turned 2. She's into sports and she's already outgrowing every little piece of sports apparel she had. Thankfully, I know Clara Kate Creations. Clara Kate Creations was started by a former high school teacher who quit because it wasn't cost effective to send new twins and a 2-year-old to daycare. She found it easier to make girl sports apparel than finding it to buy. And I am so thankful that she exists because if we have an old shirt of Murph's that she's outgrown, we can send it in and she takes that piece of apparel that means something and upcycles it into an outfit that Murphy can now wear as she grows up. She makes great stuff. It's honestly kind of like your fullback's wife, Kyle Juszczyk. Is that how you say it? She does that. But honestly, I think Clara Kate's coming for Mrs. Juszczyk's job.
I love that. I'm a big Juice guy, love his wife, love Claire Kate even more than both of them, though.
You can send in your own custom ideas and she will come up with a design. She's just the best. Look up Clara Kate Creations on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and more.
Hmm.
And I'm also going to get a visit from Lincoln Cosby as well, one of the best like 4-3 men in the class of 2027 as well. I'm Kentucky on Mark Pope. This is how I'm going to lean into it. And look, I think even when you hear recruits talk about Mark Pope as well, like they love that he's a big man himself that played in the NBA and that he showcases his big man. And like I said, I think these recruits more than ever, and I'm not saying like they didn't before, but it now seems the more than ever like these guys really want to see what similar type players look like in the coach's system they're about to go to. So he's going to be looking at what JQ is about to do. I think it's going to have an effect on it. And I think that, even Amari Williams not being like this NBA guy, he was very, very much put in a spot where he got to do like creation and dribble handoff type situations. So I think that, Obinna is going to be watching closely what this looks like. And I guess I know it's early, Dion. He's class of 2027. Where do you think this ends up? Because in my opinion, I think that Mark Pope is doing full court press on Obinna, and I feel like they think they should be in a good spot. I don't know anything. Like I said, Owen currently 24 in my crystal ball predictions. So where do you think, I guess early on, where's this stand and where's Kentucky stand?
Yeah, I'm 1-1 on my crystal balls. I predicted whoever that dude was last to go to Michigan State. I conveniently waited until everybody else announced their crystal balls before I announced mine, but crystal ball win nonetheless. Um, it's really early. This feels like it's going to line out to be Kentucky versus Calipari, though. Because if he's name dropping Calipari, that means Calipari is like also putting on the full court press. Like he's not name dropping Calipari because he received an offer from some Arkansas assistant coach. You know what I mean? Like Calipari made that phone call, and I think I always say this when Calipari decides to get involved, it's kind of like John Shire, same thing, right? Like John Shire sends assistant coaches to do everything. Once Shire's involved, that's the last thing you want if you're going against Duke for a recruit. The last thing you want if you're going against Arkansas for a recruit is Cal being involved. So I think it's lining up to be Kentucky versus Calipari. I want to mention something in regards to the 27 class, Mark Pope, and everything really quickly, too. There's a world we've been too harsh on Mark Pope for what he's doing in the 26 class. Maybe his whole plan is this. I'm going to slow play the 26 class. I'm really just want to make sure Louisville doesn't get a good class. And then I'm going to dominate the 27 class. And the reason I think that, and it clicked in my head as you were talking, there's more opportunity on the Kentucky roster 2 years from now than there is next year. Because when you look at this roster, realistically, who's leaving besides Ortega, Aberdeen, and JQ? Everybody else has eligibility. The only other person with real like NBA potential besides Ortega and JQ, at least in the immediate, would be Cam Williams. And if he doesn't have a large role, I don't see how he leaves for the NBA right away either. So if you retain everybody but 3 guys, maybe 4 with Brandon Garrison potentially leaving too, um, you replace those guys in the portal, and then you kind of attack like the high school recruiting class the following year. So I mean, credit to Pope. Like maybe he has it more figured out than we thought.
Yeah, I do think that Mark Pope basically approaching it this way is how he should approach things, right? It's like, is losing out on recruits ever good? No, but we're Kentucky and we're Mark Pope. We got pivots. We got it doesn't fit, but I haven't used it enough today. We're flip side correlation recruits. All right, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pivot to somebody else. We're gonna find a way. Uh, but yeah, I'll be very much following Obinna's recruitment. Like I said, my favorite big in this class, the top big in this class. Very excited to see where he ends up, and honestly, very excited to see what Mark Pope does in the class of 2027. Because, you know, last thing I'll say on this is he kind of whiffed on all his big man recruits in the class of 2026. Like Arfon not happening probably. Ethan Taylor legit just said no. So it is a little bit interesting to see how that's going to unfold, but we will have Obina updates here on. Oh, go ahead.
Seyon Keita.
Wait, who
Seyon Keita, the kid from Barcelona.
is Kentucky recruiting him?
Mark Pope visited him like a week or two ago.
Is that class of 2026?
He's 27 currently. The large rumor is he's going to reclassify to
Are
26,
you
though.
on Kentucky Reddit again?
I deleted my Reddit account. I haven't told you yet. I wanted you to know, like, I'm listening. I'm
Okay.
listening. But like, this was reported by on three. Like, he's
Okay.
largely it's a high possibility he reclassifies to 26. And I mean, if he does, I think he's the best big man in the class.
Mm, all right.
Also, yeah, I really love Ethan Taylor's game, and I don't want to come
I should have
off.
end. We're ending the video. Thank you for tuning in. We'll have Obina updates here on the channel, and also like cannot wait for this exhibition game. I mean, it's October 8th as a recording this, so it's very very close. October 24th. I think everyone will be tuned into that one.